You guys are aware in February of '97 that Big and Puff and them have all come out to LA and are.
When they came out here, we was recording. I was in the Metropolitan Hotel the night Biggie died, I think. I didn't think it was a good idea, period. That's also rubbing shit in. Whether you had something to do with it or the insinuation is there. So that was a bad fucking move. I wouldn't have came out here.
Were people talking about it?
Yeah. I mean, they was giving females at hotels. Something was gonna wind up happening that night to them, period. Because they was giving dusty females they room numbers and it wasn't gonna work out. But I wouldn't have came. And if they did, I would have came and left. They was planning on hanging out.
Yeah, they just it was like they moved here practically.
Yeah. I was like, when the shit happened and we heard about it, I kind of wasn't surprised, but then I was there at the Peterson. I'm like, oh shit. So, and then I kind of felt like, man, Puffy didn't pay them, you know what I mean?
One of the leading theories at the time was what you just alluded to, which was that, Crips didn't get paid, so Crips took their payment.
Right.
So he's out here. Did you hear when he went on the radio station and rapped "Long Kiss Goodnight"?
No, I was at the studio.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that happening.
I heard about it, but I didn't hear it.
But people were pissed about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. Like I said, Pac had some fans, or still has fans that they was die hard. So I didn't know maybe it was them niggas or was it a Pac fan? I just know they shouldn't have been out here.
Yeah.
Period.
So there was never any chatter, at least around you, about who did it?
No.
Yeah.
Then they made the little sketch and none of us look like that though.
Right. What did you think about the fact that they said the guy was dressed like Nation of Islam?
Yeah, they said that. Then they were trying to say, it's a guy that just died. They're trying to say it was him. And I don't know who did that shit.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Well, there was what was referred to as the Goon Squad by some people, which was like Poochie and George Williams, and those guys were kind of like the most feared dudes, and that kind of was where a lot of the, if it was
they
Death Row side.
They were saying, like Wack 100, he said it was Poochie, and Suge said it was Poochie did it. I ain't never heard Suge say Poochie did it.
Yeah. What was Poochie's reputation?
Man, he was Poochie. He had a reputation. Sneaky. You know what I mean? That's why they would say it was Poochie, because if anybody could put it off, it would be Poochie. I don't know, they put too much on people, bro.
Yeah.
We all human and we all can move however we gonna move. Certain people take risks that we won't take. Some people like doing what they do. And they say he was one that his reputation definitely preceded him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to meet him, there wasn't nothing scary about him.
He was a little guy.
Yeah.
But like you said, sneaky.
Yeah.
And George kind of, I think, had that same.
Yeah, no, George, though, he a real one, too.
Yeah. What do you remember from the night Biggie died? You said you were with the Outlawz.
We was at the hotel. We was at the Metropolitan Hotel, I think. And they got a call from some girls that was up there. I was like, man, cause we was gonna go, but we were like, nah, cause we gonna fuck around and get in trouble. So that's why we didn't go.
So you didn't go to the party at the Peterson because you're like, no.
Nah, we was going to fight. You know what I mean? So we like, nah, we ain't finna do that. Suge in jail. We already in trouble. We kept getting kicked out of hotels and shit like that. So we like, yeah, nah, we ain't going. We stayed in, and not even an hour later, we got a call that said, man, somebody just shot Biggie in them car up. Like, what? If some girls that was there. That shit was, like I said, I kind of knew something was gonna happen. I didn't think nothing was gonna happen to him then, though. But I thought it was a terrible fucking idea to be out here.
Yeah.
You knew whatever was going on, even like Keefe did. I mean, you knew, obviously they wasn't gonna be there to help you. I just wouldn't have came out here. That was on Puffy. As far as him being the CEO, that was probably the worst business decision he made. But also turned him into a rap star too.
Right.
So, you just never know with people like that, man.
Yeah, Keefe D claimed that he saw some, he was there that night. He claimed that he saw some girls associated with Death Row at the party, and he just felt like things were off. And it is established he went over to Biggie's table and talked to Biggie that night, and he offered Puffy, do you want us to walk with you? You need some extra people. And Puffy said, no, the feds are all over me. Like, stay away. And Keefe's like, all right. And then sure enough, Keefe's kind of like, my instincts were right, because, like, you know, somebody did kill him that night.
Yeah, that shit was, man. I asked Stevie about that. We talked about it. When we first hooked up, he's like, man, I don't know where the fuck that shit came from. He was like, you know, I called 911. Like, we didn't even know where he was at. Damn, why y'all come out? I told him, why the fuck would y'all come? When we first got cool, because we ran into, before we actually linked up and started working together, me and Napoleon ran into him, and I don't even know who else was with him at the Atlanta airport. And whoever guy was with him, we kind of pressed him. The dude, he, you know what I mean? Like, got up out of there. Stevie didn't run though, but he was just like, man, you know, and Moose said what he said, and he kind of kept it moving and shit. So once we became friends, we was talking about it. He was like, yeah, go fuck with that guy no more. But I asked him, like, why y'all come out here? He said Puffy wanted to come. He said Biggie didn't even really want to come.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. He know, only Puffy know, you know what I mean? But I know it as far as him, his career as an artist, that's what launched it.
Right. Yeah, Biggie, they said, barely left his room. His leg was all messed up from a car wreck. And Puffy was the one out partying every night, you know, going places. Even when Big did the night before he got killed, he was at the Soul Train Awards, presented an award. As soon as he walked off stage, out of there, back to the hotel room. Puffy wanted to stayed and then went out and partied and House of Blues, I think, and all this stuff. And Big's like, no.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I know they wouldn't have thought or didn't think nothing was gonna happen, but I damn sure wouldn't advise him to come out here. Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where it's gonna come from then. Like I said, Pac got fans that's die hard, like they DNA to him.
Yeah, Neckbone told me, he said it could have been anybody.
Absolutely. Like, I'm surprised ain't nothing happened to Keefe D worse in jail. Because Pac got, like, serious die-hard fans. And they all, most likely, is the ones who grew up real rough. Because they all can relate.
Right.
They might do something to him, man. I would have been thinking that off the jump. Like, this nigga had a whole movement behind him. Why would you go put yourself? Because you thumbing, you poking the bear.
Right.
It cost him his life. I know he probably didn't want to be out here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because at one point, they was friends, too, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm sure he might have been bittersweet to him when Pac died, because he looked up to Pac at one point, too, and they was close at one point.
Right.
So, I don't think he wanted to see Pac dead.
Yeah, I feel like that if they just had more time, that could have been squashed.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seems like it was like misunderstandings.
I think once Biggie would have eventually gotten away from Puffy, then they would have ended it. You know what I mean? Because I think he was more of the fuckboy than Biggie. He was the one in the mess. You know, want to play gangster and shit, you know? Biggie grew up in the streets for real, you know, so he know what come with that.
Right.
Puffy didn't. He grew up in the house. And that's what you get.
Right.